Oh, what a week. Lots to get through. We've got a lot to talk about. So, obviously this week, we had almost double helpings of football. So, obviously we had the bank holiday fixtures from Tuesday down to Thursday. And then, obviously, we had Saturday and today's fixtures as well. So, I'm going to run through the entire week of what's been happening, what went on. I'll give you my take on, obviously, the games that took place, and obviously give you a bit of a rundown of what's happening sort of next week as well, just so you're in the know. Of course, you're going to know, being football fans and that, you'll obviously know what's coming next for your club. So, we'll start for the Tuesday. So, Crystal Palace, Brentford, Selhurst Park ended 1-1. Very good game, actually, I found really, really good. Brentford are getting a lot better defensively, which is obviously going to stand them in great stead. And they do have a striker, obviously, in form. By the name of Ivan Toney. I've seen a lot of calls for him to actually be called up for the England squad because of his form at the moment. I'm not going to subscribe to that notion because I think there's a gulf. You've got club and then you've got international level, which is obviously a different kettle of fish completely. We've seen what happened to James Ward-Prowse and Jared Bowen when they got called up. It just wasn't the same. So I wouldn't get on that hype train too quick. But no, good game. Thought it was probably the right result. It was pretty even on the night as well, and for a London derby, it was actually quite decent. So yeah, like I said before, I do expect both of these teams to be well clear of the relegation zone, and yeah, I think that they will be. To be quite honest with you, both got really good managers. So as it is, Fulham 2, Brighton 1 at Craven Cottage. I'm not surprised by that. I did say at the time that it was going to be 2-1 either way. I'm not surprised that Fulham beat Brighton midweek. Brighton obviously having to rotate, don't necessarily have a striker. They were always going to fumble somewhere. Fulham are in form, so it made sense that Brighton were going to sort of drop points. But in saying that, they played well, as did Fulham, of course. Mitrovic again on the score sheet. Starting to be a thorn in everyone's side at the moment, to be quite honest with you. I actually had Fulham to go down. I actually had them relegated. I may change my mind with them. There is another club that's worse than them. We'll get to them in a minute. But Fulham, no, they're really, really good. Really, really compact as well. They showed it at Arsenal the week before, and obviously coming to Spurs yesterday, they're a good little unit. I don't worry for Brighton. Brighton are flying at the moment, 4th in the league at the minute as well. We'll obviously get to their game over the weekend as well, which happened today. Good result for them. But again, really, really good from Fulham, and I don't see them getting relegated now. I think there's one team worse than them, which we'll get to in a minute. Big result, Southampton, St Mary's beat Chelsea 2-1 on the Tuesday evening. I think Chelsea, they're one of those that will blow hot and cold this season. I thought they were dead certs to finish in the top 4. Now I'm not so sure. Obviously, would depend on the new signings that they've got. So obviously they've got Fofana in. Aubameyang's coming as well. So we're going to see how that changes things. Obviously, they've got someone that can put the ball in the back of the net. Now, I'm not saying that Sterling wasn't doing that, but Sterling isn't an out-and-out striker, and that would have been a problem for them throughout the season if they hadn't got themselves a striker. Now that they do, I think it could blow hot and cold because defensively they do look they look weak. They're not powerful, and I've said this on many occasions that when Chelsea play, they are a powerful unit. They're not showing that, and I don't think that they're as powerful as everyone's making out at the moment. They can be got at. I think they've conceded in every game this season so far, bar the opening game of the season. Yeah, so problems defensively there. We'll see. I think they'll revert to a back three now that Fofana's in there. So stick him sort of next to Thiago Silva, and then obviously you've got Koulibaly on the other side. We'll see. But bad result on the night. Southampton were brilliant, I thought. Southampton, I think, will be down in the mire, sort of 15th, 16th. That's kind of where I have them at. I think Chelsea will probably be fighting for top 4, but nothing more in the league when it comes to titles or anything like that. May have a cup run as they always do. So that's just where I stand on them. Leeds versus Everton, Ellen Road. Entertaining game. Rodrigo got injured. And Anthony Gordon scored again, to be quite honest with you. Again, another one. Everton are one of those I said would go down. I still am of that notion that they'll be in trouble. I don't think Dominic Calvert-Lewin will be enough when he does get back. I do believe that Leeds are safe as well. I think once Rodrigo gets back and obviously Patrick Bamford is obviously up and running and fit again, I think they'll be fine. I think they found a formula that works for them. I do think they'll struggle away from home because they are so open. And obviously we'll get to that. Obviously they had a game over the weekend as well and they got absolutely torn to shreds. But of course we'll get into that. But I thought Leeds were good for the draw on Monday. I thought Everton deserved to get something out of the game based on the chances that they created as well. We'll move on to Wednesday. Bournemouth versus Wolves. So, since sacking Scott Parker, Bournemouth haven't lost a game. Obviously, Scotty Parker got fired after the 9-0 loss at Liverpool, and obviously he came out with a couple of comments in relation to transfer business and him not being backed, which I kind of understand and I get, but at the same time, since then, Bournemouth have gone on to pick up 4 points. So, call it as you will. Wolverhampton, that's a big point for Wolves. Wolves have been playing really well this season, just haven't been getting the results. Did this weekend, of course, which we'll get into. But I think it will turn for Wolves, and I understand that Wolves are actually in talks with Diego Costa now as their brand new striker. I think they're going to have a word with him. I think he might be coming in on a free transfer. So, good things for them coming up. And they've got a good squad. Wolves will always score goals. It's just about finding the sort of right members in the right areas, because they've got players that are really, really good at going forward, but just not very good at putting the ball in the back of the net. And maybe if that's what Costa brings, then Wolves will be fine and we'll finish sort of mid-table, as I predicted them to finish anyway. Manchester City 6, Nottingham Forest 0, live from the Etihad. Oh, Haaland. I knew he was going to be a problem when he came. He's just someone that big, someone that quick, someone that athletic, someone that could finish is going to be a problem anywhere they go. He outscores the numbers that he's actually appearing in, if that makes sense. Like, his appearances to his goals ratio doesn't make sense. He's outscoring his appearances. Like, really fathom that. Like, I think right now he's currently on 10 goals in like 5 games or 6 games, which is mental to me. And he's going to get more. I kind of fear for my life next week now, because I know we're going there. And I don't know how we're going to stop him. So it's going to be interesting. I do believe we'll go there and score, but I don't know how we're going to stop him. I really don't know how we're going to do that. So I'm a little bit afraid. But Nottingham Forest went there and just got absolutely packed in. They got packed in. They got rolled over like a ham sandwich. They got absolutely moved to differently. And Haaland just wasn't having it. Ripped them apart. Ended up being 6-0. Manchester City is going to be your champions. I still believe Nottingham Forest, after their 2,500 signings this window just gone, I still think they'll be safe. They've got enough in the squad, obviously, with the squad that they've got. Once they've found that formula, they'll be fine. And don't worry about Forest. Live from the Emirates, it was Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 1. Arsenal won't be able to sustain this for the whole season. Don't get me wrong, they're playing really, really good football at the moment. Arguably playing the best football in the league right now. And obviously, you know, before today were 5 wins in 5. But it's not sustainable throughout the season. They ain't got the players capable of doing that week in, week out. They will tire. And I think Aston Villa sort of found a chink in the armoury as well when they went there. Don't get me wrong, Arsenal are a decent unit. They are very, very good at what they do. I don't think they're very strong. They're very easy on the eye. But they don't like physicality. And we'll get into that today. Because I just saw them get packed in as well. But they don't like physicality. You get into them, you can get something out of them as well. They play that pretty football. But trust me, once you get into them, they don't like it. But 2-1 win to them. Still top of the league for now. And yeah, rolling on to the game today. We'll be doing that in a minute as well. But no, decent win for them. Aston Villa, I still think are in trouble, and I still think Steven Gerrard is sort of looking down the barrel at the moment, even though they did pick up a good result themselves over this weekend as well, which of course we'll get into in a moment. We'll go to the London Stadium where my beloved Spurs went to West Ham. We still look poor. we look so poor. We look slow. We look lethargic. We have ideas. There is creativity there. I don't think West Ham played that well. West Ham just survived. They survived the first half. Should have been a penalty for sure. I don't care if it comes off Cresswell's face and hits his hand. His hand shouldn't be in that position anyway. So that should have been a penalty, but whatever. Second half, I thought we were shocking. West Ham grew into the game. Brought Paqueta on. He kind of changed things for them a little bit, and they probably should have won it at the end as well. I don't like the fact that we fell asleep during a throw-in, a routine throw-in that we should have been ready for. And that's what cost us, essentially, 3 points. So these are the games we need to be going out to win, and we didn't. So things obviously did get better for us over the weekend just gone, but again, it's just another display that doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence if we're going to play Champions League football midweek and then go to Manchester City that Saturday after that. But still undefeated, still in the top 3. I can't argue too much. I just want things to be a bit better. I'm asking too much? Probably not, but here's what it is. Liverpool 2, Newcastle 1 from Anfield. Good game. Isak on the score sheet on his debut. Massive for Newcastle. I think he's going to do well here. I really do. I like the look of him. Like his movement, and he's quick. Just needs to his finishing needs a little bit of a touch up, but he's only young and he'll grow. I thought Liverpool got a bit lucky. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, Newcastle were time wasting a little bit, but I do believe they got really lucky. Scored in the 98th minute. Great finish from Carvalho. Liverpool aren't special. I think that Mane loss is turning a lot of heads at the moment, and Liverpool aren't the same team that they were last season with him. And it showed this weekend as well. They just look really blunt. They don't look like they're going to score in games. There used to be a certainty to score in games beforehand. Now it's difficult to see the games that they're going to win unless they're, allowed to play. Teams are finding them out and they're not allowing them to play as much, which is a problem for them, and I don't like it. So decent win for them, and that's all I can really say about it, to be honest. Liverpool were my second choice to be sort of second in the league. Might come under threat, just saying, for now anyway. Obviously it's still early. We'll move on to the Thursday game, which was Leicester versus Manchester United. I've been calling it the Walker Stadium. I completely forgot they called it the King Power now, so my apologies. So yeah, Leicester 0, Man United 1 at the King Power Stadium. Not the greatest of games, but United are putting a few results together, which obviously is great for the league because a strong Man United is needed. I've got nothing against Man United, to be quite honest. I'd much prefer them in the top 4 than Arsenal, to be fair. Yeah, just grinding them out, doing what needs to be done, gone back to basics. Erik Ten Hag even seems to know what the formula is now. He seems to have found it, and that's dropping Harry Maguire. Which wasn't difficult, to be honest. Every manager persevered with that, brother, for the longest time. And obviously since now you've dropped him, haven't lost a game since. Coincides with that. So it is what it is. Really, really professional. I think that's the word it is. Professional performance from Man United. Leicester looked devoid of ideas. Leicester are the team I'm talking about that are taking over from Fulham. I think Leicester are in big trouble. An aging squad, a squad that doesn't want to stay together. I know Tielemans and Maddison still want to leave. Fofana is gone. Schmeichel is gone. Evans is old. Vardy is old. That team needs an overhaul, and I don't think Brendan Rodgers is going to be around to see it. If I'm being honest, I think they are bang in trouble, and you're going to see why when I go through the results this weekend. Speaking of this weekend, Saturday, Merseyside derby live from Goodison. Everton 0, Liverpool 0. Don't really know what to say, to be quite honest. Very few chances, like clear opportunities for me. Van Dijk should have been sent off, absolutely, for that Horridge tackle. Liverpool just weren't that good. Nunes is not that good. Salah just hasn't been good. Firmino is Liverpool are horrible right now. Everton actually should have won the game, to be quite honest with you. I don't know where Liverpool go from here, I'm going to be honest. I really don't know. It's a tough one. You'll tell me it's 6 games into the season, but by this time last season, Liverpool, I think, had won all 6 of their opening fixtures or something like that. They might have drawn 1. But they are a shadow of what they were last season. I think they've only picked up 9 points from an available 18. So, you know, Klopp's got it all to do at the moment. As for Everton, I still think they're banging trouble, but it's a good point for them. Really, really good point for them. And if they could build on that, then maybe they could put a nice flurry of results together. But they need to score goals. They don't score goals. And this is obviously the league you need to score goals in. Because they concede a lot. And if you're not scoring, you will get relegated. And I still think Everton are in that bracket. They're right there. They're not moving for me. Fulham do score goals. Everton don't. It literally just comes down to that. We'll go to my beloved. I was actually at the game yesterday at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. A lot better than what we have been, but still not up to scratch. I thought the first half we were really, really good. Showed a few good things. Richarlison I thought was excellent, as was Bentancur. Still not there. Still not there. Picked up the win, which is obviously great. And obviously we're not losing, so that's always good. We won the game 2-1. I just don't think we're cohesive enough, which is mad considering it's most of the squad that was there last season. And that's just kind of where we stand with it. Fulham played well. They had a game plan, obviously. Mitrovic on the score sheet again. So that makes it, 5 and 6 for him. Really, really good finish as well. Harry Kane is now 3rd all-time goal scorer as well. With his goal. Takes him out to 188. So, yeah, long may it continue. I just hope we can get better. Seriously, the performances have been okay. It's just a style of play that I'm not happy with. We're not quick enough. We seem to be second to everything. And we seem to have a low block literally, 3/4 of the game, which is not what we're about. Or maybe we are. I don't know. We like to hit teams on the counter a lot. So who knows? That might be what we're going for each game and every game. But I'm not enjoying it, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, I'll take it if it wins us a trophy or a league, of course. But I want to see more. That's all I'm saying. We'll go to the City ground next, which is Nottingham Forest 2, Bournemouth 3. I wouldn't even call it a freak result. I fully expected Forest to beat Bournemouth to turn them over quite easily at home. And they were well on their way to doing that in the first half. Bournemouth, to their credit, dug in and then went out all out attack. And then they were just like a team possessed. All they were doing was just hell-bent on getting the ball forward into the box. And that's exactly what they did. Won the game in the last sort of dying embers of the game as well. Steve Cooper will get it right with Forest. And a lot of new signings to bed in. I still think Bournemouth are banging trouble. They don't have enough in this league, I don't think. And that's just kind of where I stand with them. I still think they're quite useless, but here we are. But good win for them, nonetheless. 4 points, like I said, picked up in the last 2 games since Scott Parker's departure. That's a lot. And yeah, 3 points to them. Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 2, West Ham 1. This is one of the games that are going to be looked at by a VAR kind of summit meeting. Because there is no way West Ham's goal should have been disallowed. That should have ended 2-2. And Chelsea were quite lucky in that game as well to come out with the result. West Ham scored first as well. Chelsea have players that can nick a game for you. They just don't do it that often enough. And Chelsea at home are going to need to be reliant on that home form. Because away from home, they are shocking. I think Chelsea, like I said, are going to be in that running for 4th. West Ham will be there or thereabouts in the periphery, sort of 8th, 9th. But their season hasn't kicked off yet. They haven't kicked on. We're usually their cup final. So they usually always get up for that game. And yeah, I just feel like there's a lot more for them to offer as well, especially with the new players they've got coming in. So obviously Scamacca is there. Paqueta will obviously feature a lot more this season as well. So, no, really, really good result for Chelsea. But I thought they were lucky, and I thought West Ham should have at least nicked a point from that. And I thought West Ham are actually the better team. Brentford versus Leeds. This is what I mean with Leeds and their home form as well being key to their success in this league. Got beat 5-2, humbled. Ivan Toney scored a hat-trick. A great hat-trick as well. That free kick was absolute money. Absolute money. This is why I don't worry about Brentford. Brentford at home are very, very good. They will pick up results there. They are very, very solid. 12th, 13th place team in the Premier League at the moment. They're not going anywhere. Leeds United are the same. I think they'll be well placed 15th, 16th. They relegation dogfight maybe, but like I said before, I think they've got enough to obviously do more. Leeds do play really, really good football, but are very, very easily found out, and they leave a lot of open spaces, which is why they got absolutely hammered this weekend by Brentford. But if you don't learn from your mistakes, you don't learn from your mistakes. Is what it is. We'll go to Molineux next. Wolverhampton versus Southampton. Not really much to say about it, really. It was a pretty boring game, if I'm being honest. Southampton didn't really do much, and that Che Adams miss or handball type header where he just literally could have just headed the ball right there and got the equaliser. I don't know what he was thinking. I have no idea what he was thinking at all whatsoever. Yeah, it wasn't the best of games. Wolverhampton, I expected them to win. I thought they'd win by more. They didn't. 1-0 win, but again, a solid win for them. One that they deserve, because obviously their football has warranted it this season. They've been very, very good, as I said before. Yeah, really good game, and I expect Wolves to kick on from here on out. Again, another one, Newcastle versus Crystal Palace at St James's Park. Again, not much happened. St Maximin was out as well, as was Guimaraes, as was Callum Wilson. So not a lot really happened. Crystal Palace didn't really offer much themselves as well. It was a decent game of football, but not much to sort of talk about, and that's kind of where we'll leave it. It was a 0-0 game. Not much that happened. Is what it is. Manchester City went to Aston Villa Park and almost got turned over. I don't know what happened. Haaland, yes, scored again. Kevin De Bruyne, of course, was the assist maker. Aston Villa played really, really well. Really well. Which was quite shocking, considering they've been getting slapped about week after week beforehand. I think this might have saved Steven Gerrard a little bit, because Aston Villa obviously can function. And it's not even like Manchester City were off it. It's just that Aston Villa had an answer for them. If Aston Villa can continue that way, then they might be okay. I don't have Aston Villa relegated, but I do see Steven Gerrard losing this job if things don't improve soon, and that will start of the improvement. So we shall see. They've also given us a blueprint of how to play against Manchester City. So maybe we could take heed of that for next week. So Conte, I hope you're listening, yeah, and watching. Devise a plan. We'll see. Today, Brighton 5, Leicester 2. That's on the Amex. Leicester are terrible. Leicester are terrible. There's not much to say. Brighton were excellent. Every time Brighton go forward, it looks like they're going to score, which is obviously what you want. Leicester are devoid of ideas. They played some good football in the first half. Second half, they completely fell apart. Every time you go forward against that 4-man defence, they look like they'll capitulate. They wet themselves. And you're not going to survive in this league if that's the case. Brendan Rodgers looks like he's checked out mentally himself anyway. It's a mess there. And I do think Leicester are in big, big trouble. There's a lot of the season to go, I know, but I think Leicester are bang in trouble. Brighton, again, they will shock a few. Them, Newcastle and Forest will shock a few. It just is what it is. And last but not least, Old Trafford, Man United 3, Arsenal 1. Arsenal finally beaten. After game 6, United were brilliant. United were absolutely excellent. Cut them to ribbons on the counter. Arsenal play some good stuff, don't get me wrong. They've always been a team that can keep possession and pass the ball really well. They've always been pretty football. Sometimes that doesn't work. And it showed today. United just dug in and absolutely packed them on the counter. Marcus Rashford had the game of his life. He looked like he was back to doing what he does best. It was good to see. It was really, really good to see. So Man United looked like they found that formula, as I said before. Ten Hag seems to know what he's found, and he's going to stick with it. And well done to them. Well done to them. As for Arsenal, I do hope this is a start of a really, really miserable month. Yeah. No bias, of course, obviously. We'll get into the fixtures for next weekend. So obviously we start off at the Fulham ground, Craven Cottage. They got Chelsea, another London derby. I see Fulham nicking that. I'm going to be honest, I don't see Chelsea winning that one. I think Fulham are banging form. I think Mitrovic scores again. I would go with a 2-1 win for Fulham. I think Chelsea's facets of play are too slow. They're missing Kante. I just think Fulham will have too much for them. I'll go 2-1 Fulham there. We'll go to the Vitality Stadium next. Bournemouth against Brighton. I think Brighton go there and win. They'll take that game 2-0. Bournemouth have been in really good form recently. I just think Brighton are the better team and will find a way to score goals, and they will beat them quite easily 2-0. St Mary's will go to Southampton versus Brentford. I'll go a draw there, 1-1. Based on the fact that Southampton are very good at home. Brentford aren't very good away. It seems like the kind of game that you'd look at and be like, yeah, it's a draw. 1-1, 2-2 kind of game. And that's where I'm going with that. Anfield next, we'll go Liverpool versus Wolves. I think Liverpool will take this game just 1-0. Wolves play some really good stuff. And actually, Wolves, I think, can hurt Liverpool quite a bit. Problem for Wolverhampton is they don't score enough goals. And if Liverpool get on a run, I think they can go out of sight. It's just, it depends on that midfield battle for me. If the midfield battle is so key. But I do see Liverpool nicking a win now. I'll go 1-0 for that. But I think it'll be really, really close. We'll go to the King Power Stadium next. Leicester versus Aston Villa. El Sakiko. Rodgers versus Gerrard. I think that will be a draw. I will go 1-1 there. Yeah. Not much to say on that. I think it'll just be a 1-1 draw. I don't think there's going to be much happening with that. Two really, really poor teams in form at the moment. Can't really go anywhere else with it. So that's my prediction for that 1-1. Etihad, Manchester City versus my beloved Spurs. We go there and win games. We go there and play really well. We always seem to go there and score goals. Obviously, Man City and Haaland, like I said before, frightens the light. He terrifies me. He's that good. I'm going to put my neck on the line and say I think we'll get beat. I think we'll get beat 3-1, 3-2. It'll be one of them type of games. Obviously, I hope we win. I just think Haaland's a massive, massive factor. And I know we don't concede many goals, but I just feel like he's so good that he'll probably come up with a couple of goals, and De Bruyne usually does what De Bruyne does, and that's where it will be the difference. But I wouldn't be surprised if we pulled off a victory as we have done in the past. So we shall see. But I think we'll take our first L there, but we'll have a look. Sunday, we'll go to the Emirates, Arsenal versus Everton. I think Arsenal will beat Everton. It will be kind of a backlash of what happened today. It's a bit dark now, so I'm not even sure if you guys can even see me at the moment. But yeah, Arsenal to beat Everton. I think it would be quite easy, sort of 2-3-0 kind of game. I do hope Everton could obviously pull off an upset, but I just don't see it. I don't think Everton are that good away from home. So Arsenal victory. I'll try and whiz through these ones because obviously it's getting a bit late and it's getting a bit dark. We'll go to the London Stadium next. West Ham versus Newcastle. I think Newcastle pick up more points. West Ham, I believe, are really, really, really poor at the moment and they haven't gelled as yet. And I think Newcastle, they're in a better place. They'll be getting a couple of their players back as well. And are actually defensively resolute and do score goals. So I think Newcastle will take that game 2-1. Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace versus Manchester United, always a classic fixture. I believe Man United take this game. Crystal Palace are actually very good under Vieira. I wouldn't be a surprise if it's actually a draw. I might actually do that for my bet. So I might give the result to United, but obviously have the draw in reserve as well. Crystal Palace can quite easily turn them over as well, but I just think United are in really, really decent form at the moment, and I do see them going there, getting a couple, especially after what Marcus Rashford did today as well. And last but not least, see what I did there? Last but not Leeds. Ellen Road, Leeds United, Nottingham Forest. I think Leeds are going to turn Nottingham Forest here. Leeds decent at home. I think they'll win the game 3-1. Nottingham Forest are still sort of feeling themselves out. Leeds have a pretty settled squad at the moment. Have a pretty settled 11. I know they're missing Rodrigo and a couple of others, but I think they'll have enough to put Nottingham Forest away. from Ellen Rhodes. I'll do the videos next week a little bit earlier because obviously it's a bit dark now. So I'll ensure that I'll be doing that a little bit better next time. But yeah, that's my review, and I will look to speak to you guys in a few days' time.